Welcome. You have reached review time with Imperial. Today will be the start of this season 9 review of The Walking Dead. So this will be the review of episode 1. Let's get into it. So this is a new beginning. And of course, the first 5 episodes is the last 5 episodes of Andrew Lincoln playing as Rick Grimes on a TV show. So pretty much the new beginning is showing how the communities have rebuilt and coming along, except for the sanctuary. The sanctuary, they're struggling because they didn't do much before all this took place, before all out war. All they did was pretty much manufacture some things and took from everybody else, and that's how they produced their things. So now that they can no longer just take from everybody else, they're forced to make their own food and stuff like that and depend on other people. That's not working for them, so they're struggling. And then you see some rebellion is building up. Meanwhile, the leaders of the communities each went on a journey to go to the Washington, D.C. museums. They wanted to retrieve some old, like a wagon and some other things that can help them in the future, to help them build up the communities. So in the process of doing all that, of course, there are zombies inside the museum, and across the floor there's a glass floor with zombies underneath it. So you can already hear while they're walking on the floor that it's cracking, the glass. So they decided to bring this big wagon across this floor, and you can hear it cracking the whole time. So you like, come on, man. Like, you already know what's going to happen seeing that. Nevertheless, Ezekiel, he ended up falling through. And the crazy thing about it, when he falls through, like, I don't know what the distance was from how high they was up compared to, but when he fell through, he was like right on top of the zombies. Like, the actual effects was like unbelievable. Then you had, from there, he didn't get bit. Now, you know, like I know, you've been watching the zombies. As soon as they get to touch anybody, the straight thing they go for is the bite. So he's down there hanging, they touching all on him, but he doesn't get bit. So that was like, whatever. That they could have did without that scene. So there's a new guy with them. They're on their way back from the museum. They run into where a bridge, they said, it went under because of the storm. Now, I like how they tie that in, and I thought of this where they tied the storm that we witnessed on Fear the Dead, the big hurricane, and I'm thinking they tied that in, like when they said the storm took the bridge out, I'm thinking how they tied that in, like what we watched on Fear the Dead. So, if you don't know, season 4 Fear the Dead had a big storm, hurricane, and we all witnessed that. And so when The Walking Dead spoke to the storm, that made me allude to they experienced the same thing. So I like how they tie that in. Nevertheless, they want to get this bridge built back up so that they can travel. It allows them to travel faster. In the process of doing this, their journey, the horses kind of get the wagon stuck in mud, and the horses is tired. So one of the guys that's from the hilltop with Maggie, he like tends the horses. So he like, they need a break. Out of nowhere, here come the zombies. Instead of them just like going out and just dropping them off, it was probably like 20. They decide, let's try to just hurry up and leave. So they pull the wagon out of the ditch, and then when they do that, by that time the zombies catch up with them. Now they're fighting a few of them all. So when they said forget it, let's leave it, they broke off and decided to push forward and lead a wagon. The guy that tends to the horses that's from the hilltop, he runs back to try to let the horse go. And in the process of doing that, he's not aware. He's not like, he hasn't been out in the wild to know awareness, looking at yourself at all times. So, of course, he goes out there to help the horse, but he gets bit in the process, and he dies. So that sucked. And then everybody rushed back to clear out the rest of the zombies. So I'm like, why didn't y'all just all do that from the jump anyway? So, then I didn't care for that. Another scene that I didn't care for. So, meanwhile, Daryl is running the sanctuary. He doesn't care to run the sanctuary. He tells Rick, look, I'm not trying to run a sanctuary. He pretty much want to go the hilltop with Maggie. Rick is kind of looking at it like, yo, you should come back and help me. Because Rick can see, like, their bond that they had is spreading apart. And if he go to hilltop, that's pushing their relationship further away. So what he is alluding to is pretty much like, yo, man, come back with me. And Daryl like pretty much like, nah, I'm gonna go with Maggie, help her out. So Rick can see it. So they get back to the hilltop. Since that time frame, Gregory he thought that the community of the hilltop aside with him, so he implemented there should be a voting system on who runs the hilltop. Of course, Maggie won, and he's bitter. He feels some type way. So the guy who passed away, his family is left at the hilltop, and of course they're discouraged. They're upset that he passed away. They blame Maggie because they looked at their son. He's not somebody out in the wild. He shouldn't have been out there anyway. So they told Maggie pretty much, we don't want to see you. You're not our friend. We voted for you, but you're pretty much a newcomer. You don't really care like for us like that. So from there, you had at the funeral, Gregory is stirring up trouble. He tells like the family who lost their son, he's telling them like, what you gonna do about it? So he pretty much gassed the father up to attack Maggie. And while she's pushing the stroller for baby Herschel, and she had her baby, by the way, finally. Even though the last season we didn't even see her showing, so they just skipped right over that process. Nevertheless, she had her baby, and Gregory went up to her, said some words, and she made it look like he was happy that she congratulated that she won the vote. So when she went, he told her that somebody destroyed Glenn's tombstone or whatever, and he knew that would trigger her. She won't wait. That'll trigger her to go and go see what's up. So in the process of her going to see what's up, she got the baby with her. The father is waiting for her to kill her. So he hits her and they go through a scuffle. The baby get knocked over and they're scuffling. Baby's crying. People come out. Enoch comes out to help, which is like Maggie's assistant. And he hits her. She falls and get knocked out. And so the rest of everybody came and they grabbed him and pulled the mask off. Of course, it was the father. So from there, Maggie went and she went to approach Gregory. And when she went in to approach Gregory, he acted like he didn't know what she was talking about. But then she was pretty much telling him, like, you not man enough to do it yourself. So he got closer to her. And when he got closer, he tried to stab her. And so she got the double whammy. They tried to murder her twice. And so after that, she struggled with him and got the knife from him. And then this goes back to the comic scene. So in the comics, Maggie, this same situation happens, but Gregory tries to poison Maggie in the comics. But nevertheless, Maggie issues a death by hanging for Gregory, and that's what they showed on the episode. Meanwhile, Rick went to Maggie, telling Maggie that they're gonna need her to help the sanctuary out with food and stuff like that. So she pretty much like, she ain't really feeling it, but if she gonna help them out, they're gonna have to carry their weight, meaning they're gonna have to do majority of the production of building up the bridge. And she's really standoffish and she's rebelling, and you can see the turmoil starting to happen between Rick and Maggie. So pretty much that's the episode in a nutshell. These are the last 5 episodes of The Walking Dead with Rick Grimes. Overall, episode was just okay. I'm not all hyped on it like you see a lot of these other vloggers out here making videos acting like it's the best thing that has happened. And see, I'm new to this, so my perspective is going to be different, because a lot of these people that's making video blogs, they're making video blogs because they have been successful on their channels making these Walking Dead videos and all this through the show. And I get them, but they know if the Walking Dead tanks are no longer popular, they got to find new content. So they're not really ready for that. So what happens, they're going to push this out to whoever watches the video like this is the best thing ever and it's all great or whatever. Yeah, and that could be because they just strictly love the show or whatever. But that could be strictly because they love the show, or they could be fans. But I've been a fan of the show as well, and I've been watching the show since season 1. So I like the show just like anybody else. But I'm gonna give it to you straight. That episode was not the greatest. So stay tuned to the next week. I want you to subscribe and like, leave a comment, share the video, make sure your notifications button's on. Join this journey with me together so we can keep the channel building. Week to week, I'll be tuning in on the episode. Stay tuned.